All right, first and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. Do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahweh Shai. All right, so today, through the Spirit, the Most High put in my spirit to recreate the Daniel 70 weeks breakdown, because we had it on the channel, right? We had it on the Sakari, New Jersey, New York channel. But, Esau want to take it down. Esau took the whole channel down. Understand what I'm saying? Sakari finally out of this drought that we was in. All praises to the Most High, back in the Spirit, the whole camp through the Spirit. So we're just going to bring everything back, We're going to flux the whole, we're going to feed the sheep. That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep feeding the sheep. All right, so first I want to get this quick precept. This book of Sirach, chapter 39, in verse 1, it says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof." Right, so we give our mind to the Most High God, right? And we've been, as a camp, we've been excluded from the, from the media, from everything, for like a whole month. Right, but we kept giving our mind to the Most High God's laws, right? It says, "We'll seek out the wisdom of the ancient and be occupied in prophecies." Right, so we always got to be occupied in prophecies. We see things going on every single day, so we got to be occupied in these prophecies. And we know that the prophecies in the Bible validate the Bible, right? Because there's no book like this book. Understand? None shall want her mate. Understand? The prophecies that come to pass give the validity of this book. Understand? And it gives us, to break it down, it gives us more understanding than the ancients, who we get understanding from. All right, watch this. This is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 100. It says, "I understand more than the ancients because I keep thy precepts." So because we keep the Most High's precepts, right, and we occupy in these prophecies, we understand more than the ancients, right? And let's get this real quick. The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, "Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets." Right? So he gives his secrets to the servants, the prophets. Understand what I'm saying? The secret things that the Most High God got installed in his book is given to the prophets. Who are these prophets? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native and Seminole Indians, right? The Israelites, right? God's chosen people. Understand? You're not about to see an Edomite come over here and break down Genesis 49, break down Ezekiel 30, 40s, right? Revelation. Understand? Amos. It don't matter. Any prophecies, these Edomites, these Moabites, right? Not about to see no Ethiopian come in here and break the word down the correct way. He gives to his secret servants the prophets. And the prophets are the Israelites. Understand? All right, so we're going to jump right into the book of Daniel. We're going to go over the 70 weeks breakdown, right? Through the Spirit. All praises. All right, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 24. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. So let's deal with the 70 weeks first, right? Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, "And when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year." Right? So the Most High appoints a day for a year. So a day equals a year. Because everything in this Bible is prophetic. Understand when it says 70 weeks, it's not literal 70 weeks. Right? These days implicate years. Right? So one day will be a year. Right? And it's a week. So it'll be 7 weeks. So 7 times 70, 490 years, right? 70 weeks times 7, 490 years. That's the 70 weeks, 490 years. So 70 weeks are determined upon thy people, back in Daniel 9 and 24, are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish their transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity. Right, so let's see what it means to finish the transgression and to make reconciliation for the iniquity. All right, let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and verse 17. Right, it says, "Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. Right? So Christ came to be the catalyst to the new covenant and to reconcile us for our sins that we committed against the Most High God. Right? He came to finish that transgression. Right? Back in Daniel 9 and verse 24. It says, and to seal and to bring in everlasting righteousness. So he came to make reconciliation for our iniquity, like I said in Hebrews 2:17, and to bring in everlasting righteousness. Right? Let's see who bring in everlasting righteousness. This is the book of John, chapter 4, and verse 14. It says, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. So Christ is the one that came and gave it the everlasting life. Right? So let's go back to Daniel. Read it from the top. All right, with the understanding now. 70 weeks, which is 490 years, are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness. Right? Christ came to do that. And to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. Right? When you go into the Hebrew, the word, you can fact check it if you want. The word most is kodash. The word holy is kodash. So it says, to essentially, it's saying to anoint the kodash, the holy of holies, right? And the holy of holies is the elect, right? And let's deal with the temple on the elect. Watch this. Remember, the Most High is only dealing with for right now, dealing with the elect, right? In the kingdom, he's gonna be dealing with everybody, all the Israelites, right? The Most High dealing with the elect, the 1/3, right? The 144. Watch this. 1 Kings 6 and verse 16. Right, and we're gonna read it in the NIV for simplicity's sake. It says, he partitioned off 20 cubits at the rear of the temple with cedar boards from floor to ceiling to form within the temple an inner sanctuary, the most holy place. So this place is the holy of the holies because the temple is holy, right? So it says the holy of holies, right? Verse 17. The main hall in front of this room was 40 cubits long. So you had the temple, 60 cubits. The most holy place was 20 cubits. 20 out of 60 is 1/3. Understand? Christ came to seal up what? The spiritual temple, which is us, right? The 1/3. Understand what I'm saying? And when you deal with the Bible always deals with a 1/3. All right, let's quickly. So let's go to Zechariah, right? Chapter 13, verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein. 1, 2, 1/3, 2/3. The Bible is always dealing with thirds, right? So let's go back to Daniel. Chapter 9 and verse, let's just read from the top, verse 24, from the top. 490 years, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, which Christ did, and to seal up the vision of prophecy, and to anoint the most holy, the holy of holies, the elect. Right, to anoint the elect. Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 70 weeks. So the start of this prophecy starts with the commandment to build Jerusalem again, to build the city, right? A lot of people like to say, oh, It's 70 weeks. It actual 70 weeks. It started from King Cyrus when he made it build the temple. We're gonna disprove that it started with King Cyrus. Right. Let's go to the book of let's go to the book of Ezra. Let's go to the book of Ezra. All right. We're gonna read Ezra chapter 1. My fault. Ezra chapter 1 verse 1. All right, watch this. Right, it says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, right? So, and Ezra is dealing with King Cyrus, right? Let's jump to verse 3. It says, who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him. Salakia. And let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. It says to build the house of the Lord. All right, let's jump to verse 5. Watch this. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem. The only decree that King Cyrus made was to build the temple. Right? And go build the city. He only went to go build the temple. That's it. All right. So when we read Daniel 9:24, it says the commandment was going to build Jerusalem. Not build the temple, build Jerusalem, the city. All praises. All right, let's go to Nehemiah Chapter 2, we're going to start at verse 5. It says, and I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest. So Nehemiah gotta beg the king, right? Tell him if your servant found favor in your sight. Let's just keep that in mind, right? It says that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my fathers' sepulchres, that I may build it. So Nehemiah is asking the king to build the city, not the temple in Ezra, the city, right, with Artaxerxes. Right, he's asking Artaxerxes to build the city of Jerusalem. Verse 6 says, and the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, for how long shall thy journey be? And when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Judah. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace, which appointed to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my God upon me. All right, so ultimately the Most High God allowed Artaxerxes to allow Nehemiah to go build the city. Right, but this is where the decree starts. Nehemiah 2 verse 5, when Nehemiah 2 verse 8, when Artaxerxes allowed Nehemiah to go build the city of the Lord, not the temple, the city. All right, which is 445 BC, circa, right? 445 BC, right? So we're gonna go right back to Daniel 9 and start of verse 25, right? It says, now therefore know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. 7 weeks, 62 weeks. 60 is 60, and 2, 62, plus a 7, that's 69 weeks, right? The prophecy starting off with 69 weeks. It says, the street shall be built again, in the wall even in troublous times, right? So it starts in 445 BC. That's when the 70 weeks start. 445 BC, when Artaxerxes allowed Nehemiah to go rebuild Jerusalem, right? To go up and build Jerusalem. Let's go to Nehemiah, right? Because it said in troublous times, right? Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 17. It says they which builded on the wall, and they that bear burdens with those that laded, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held the weapon. So they're building with one hand, right? But the other hand is right there on their weapon, on their sword. Understand what I'm saying? What you need one hand working and one hand on your sword for? They had to get ready for the niggas that was messing with them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, these people were in what? Troublous times, right? We're going to keep proving that through the Spirit. It says, for the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side, and so builder. So he was ready. He was ready. He was on it. You feel what I'm saying? They was ready. That's how much in tribulation they was in, that they needed to stay strapped, and they had to have their hand on their strap while they was building. You know what I'm saying? If you was in peace, if you was just good, there was no need to be having your hand on your weapon. Understand? Now let's jump to Nehemiah 5 verse 18. It says, now that which was prepared for me daily was an ox and 6 choice sheep, as fowls were prepared for me, and once in 10 days store of all sorts of wine. Yet for all this required not I the bread of the governor. Right? This is Nehemiah. He didn't take these things as being what he's rightfully, allowed to take as the governor, but he didn't want to take it. Right? This is why he didn't want to take it. It says, not I the bread of the governor, because the bondage was heavy upon this people. So Nehemiah verbatim said that these people were in bondage while they was building the city of the Lord. Right? Verbatim. Let's read. Let's get another precept. Nehemiah 9 and verse 36. It says, behold, we are servants this day. And for the land that thou gavest unto our fathers to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof, behold, we are servants in it. So in the city that they built in Jerusalem, right, the land that the Most High God gave them, they're servants in it. Understand? They was in slavery. They was in bondage, right? Let's go back to Daniel 9. So that's the troublous times. The troublous times was them building the city in bondage, right? But remember, 69 weeks. Let's read it again. Daniel 9 and verse 25. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks, right? Because the last week is an offset week. So you're doing 483 years, right? 483 years from 445 BC, right? Let's go to verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. It said after 60. So after 483 years, the Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. And the people, this is how beautiful the Bible is. Daniel, almost 200 years before 200 years before it even starts, that's what he's prophesying. So over 600 years, Daniel is prophesying that Christ, the Messiah, is going to be cut off, but not for himself, but for who? For everybody else, right? For the what? The Israelites, according to the Bible, right? Let's keep reading. It says, let's just read it from the top. It says, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The people of the prince is dealing with Prince Titus. Understand? Right? When the Romans came and persecuted Jerusalem in 70 AD. Right? It says, and the end thereof shall be with the flood. The flood is dealing with like a war. What it's dealing with the blood, right? The shedding of the blood of all the innocent people, all the wicked Israelites, innocent Israelites, right? Because in 70 AD, our land got trampled and they literally destroyed everything, right? That's why they're dealing with like a flood. It says, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. Verse 27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Here comes that week. I told you it was offset. Here it comes back that week. It says, and in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. So in this week, he's going to cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. The sacrifice, talking about the temple. The temple is going to be destroyed in this midst of the week. Right, so in the midst of the week, the temple is going to be destroyed. Let's see what this is talking about. Let us see what this is talking about. I don't know if y'all can see this. All right, let me zoom in real quick. Just look up the Roman-Jewish War. Right, Roman-Jewish War. I'm gonna put this here. I think it's gonna be backwards. Facts. It's backwards, but if you can read it, it says start date 66 AD, end date 73 AD. Right, this is the Roman-Jewish War. Right, I know it's a bit hard to see. Roman-Jewish War. Right. 7 weeks, 7 years, which is a week. In the midst of the week, all right, in the midst of the week, watch this. Watch this. It says, in the midst of the week, the temple is going to be destroyed. All right, when you look at the Roman-Jewish War, and you look at when the temple was destroyed in what? 70 AD, which is the midst of the week. Pinpoint accuracy from hundreds and hundreds of years before the time, right? This just shows the validity of the Bible, right? Let's read verse 27 from the top, man. It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. What is that covenant? Let's go to Daniel 9 and verse 11. It says, yea, all Israel had transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. Right, dealing with a lot of the curses in Deuteronomy 28. Right, you know, eating the kids, losing the cattle, losing the land. Listen to people trotting out on our lands. Listen, a lot of the curses in Deuteronomy 28 happened in 70 AD. But like in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 46, it says that it is evident. Right, when you read in the GNT, it says evidence that these curses are upon this generation forever. Understand? It's going to be a sign and a wonder for us forever. Right? So they still keep reoccurring. Right? So that's what it means to confirm the covenant. Is that 1 week during that Roman-Jewish War, all these curses are going to be poured upon us because we sinned. Understand? But in the midst of that week, who's he? Prince Titus. He shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. Understand? Now look at our land now. It's desolate. Understand? It was desolate. Destroyed the people, destroyed the cattle, destroyed the land. Understand? And in the midst of the week, I just can't, it's just that you really can't even fathom it. This Daniel is prophesying hundreds of years before that this is going to happen. That in the middle of this week, of this offset week, of this 7-year period, the temple is going to be destroyed. And what 7-year period is that? The Roman-Jewish War. You can look it up. All right, let's keep reading. It says, even until the consummation, and the determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Right, so we're going to read Daniel 9, back from verse 24, and just, wrap the whole thing up, right? It says, Daniel 9, verse 24, 70 weeks, 490 years, are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish their transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness. Which is what Christ did. It says, and to seal up the vision of prophecy, and to anoint the most holy, the Kodash Kodash, the elect, the 1/3 and the 144. Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem, which is Artaxerxes in 445 BC, circa, to build Jerusalem, and unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. Right? We know that verbatim it said they were servants, and verbatim Nehemiah said that the people were in bondage. Right? They was in slavery while they was building the city. Understand? Right? Don't let anybody try to tell you, oh, that captivity was not a captivity. I heard people say it wasn't a captivity, that these people weren't in captivity when this was going on, right? Which is not true. That's false, right? Verse 26, it says, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. So from 445 BC to around the time of Christ dying, which is, right, 33 AD, is 483 years circa. This is pinpoint accuracy in the Bible. Pinpoint accuracy in the Bible. That from the time of the building of Jerusalem to the Messiah being cut off for the nation is 483 years circa. Right? This is pinpoint accuracy in the Bible. Right? Read again. And after 62 weeks, 483 years, shall Messiah be cut off and die. Cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince, which is Prince Titus, that shall come, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood. Right? Dealing with the blood of the Israelites. It says, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. We already know the what war? The Roman-Jewish War. Right, verse 27, and he shall confirm the covenant, which is all the curses in Deuteronomy 28, right, most of the curses in Deuteronomy 28. So confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, for 1 year, this offset year. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. So Prince Titus was going to cause the temple to be destroyed, which it was destroyed in 70 AD, which is the middle of the week from 63 AD to 66 AD to 73 AD, right? The Roman-Jewish War. In the middle of it, 70 AD, right? It says, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and the determined shall be poured upon the desolate, right? And all praises to the Most High God. All right, so we see pinpoint accuracy in the Bible. All right, and this is why the Most High is so beautiful. Right, the Most High's word is so beautiful, because the Most High just shows how true the Bible is. Right, there's no one else in the world that could do what Daniel just did. Understand? Besides all the other prophets. Understand? There ain't no regular person just, oh yeah, in 600 years, there's gonna be a guy, he's gonna come, he's gonna die for somebody, and then in the middle of this week, middle of this time period, this thing is gonna be destroyed and this is gonna be built. He's not doing all of that. All right, no one's doing all of that except the Most High God using them. You feel what I'm saying? Right? And listen, Most High God willing, y'all was edified. All praise to the Most High, that the Most High put in my spirit to make this video again. You know, after Esau took it off the channel. Right, but with that, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right, and Shalom.